Good evening, viewers, and welcome to this edition of Resource PNG. Peaceful, tranquil, friendly, a paradise. These are the thoughts that come to mind when one thinks of MRDC's recent acquisition, the Pearl South Pacific Resort and Spa. With a total of 76 rooms, 6 of which are penthouse suites, and a total of 4 restaurants, a bar and grill, a spa, conference facilities, and an 18-hole golf course, it's no wonder that the resort is a popular destination for tourists. Tourism is seen as a more reliable and stable way of investing. MRDC's acquisition of the resort can be seen as a way of guaranteeing that the flow of benefits to the landowners continues, even after the slowing down of the oil and gas sector. Let's now take a look at the documentary that showcases the Pearl South Pacific Resort and Spa.
The Pearl South Pacific, peaceful, tranquil, friendly, a paradise. And just as the name states, it is without a doubt a pearl in the Pacific. Quietly tucked away in Pacific Harbour, some 40 minutes drive outside Suva, the capital of Fiji, the resort offers holiday makers a taste of paradise within Fiji's warm and welcoming atmosphere. The Pearl South Pacific boasts a 5-star hotel. A world-class 18-hole golf course lays gracefully beside the establishment, and the resort fancies facilities such as a spa, conference, dining, bar and grill.
Hola, welcome to the Pearl South Pacific. My name is Joe. I'm the front office assistant manager. Pearl consists of 78 rooms. 6 of them are our penthouse suites, which can accommodate all guests with every high standard. We have a total of 4 restaurants. The main dining is the Mantra restaurant and a bistro restaurant, and we do have our own golf course, 18-hole and 9-hole golf course.
However, it does not end there. There is already promises of further extension and redevelopment of the resort.
My name is Michelle. I'm from Australia. I live in Victoria on holidays here, and the things that I love the most about this motel is the people, the food, and the way that you get treated by the Fijians. The weather is also beautiful mostly.
On a different note, the Pearl South Pacific is highly symbolic. It is a representation of trade, investment and business cooperation within the region, and in this case, it's between Fiji and Papua New Guinea. At the forefront of this is MRDC.
It does not surprise me that MRDC and its subsidiary companies, particularly the Petroleum Resources Kutubu, Mineral Resource Oktedi, have decided to invest and acquire this great resort.
The Mineral Resources Development Company, together with landowner company Petroleum Resources Kutubu, signed off in August this year the 34 million kina acquisition of the resort. Not only does this acquisition expand MRDC's investment portfolio, it also cements the business relations Fiji has with Papua New Guinea.
The acquisition of the Pearl Pacific Resort in Fiji, again, is a very strategic investment that will not only create business opportunity for the MRDC group, but also further strengthen the relationship between our two countries.
With a growing economy, a favorable GDP, and a boom in the mining and petroleum sector, Papua New Guinea has never been in a better state to make such major and significant inter-regional investments. Following the recent acquisition of Heavy Lift, and after 18 months of negotiations with the resort's previous owners, MRDC is yet again taking another huge venture, investing into Fiji's promising tourism sector. As tourism is seen as a more reliable and stable way of investing, MRDC's acquisition of the resort can be seen as a way of guaranteeing that the flow of benefits to the landowners continues even after the slowing down of the oil and gas sector. MRDC also believes that tourism is the best long-term strategy for diversifying its investment portfolio, both within Papua New Guinea and around the Pacific.
It gives me great pleasure to greet you this evening to an occasion that sees our two nations come together. It is also humbling to see our fellow Papua New Guineans, our ministers and governors, and prominent business community avail themselves to share in our celebration of this investment by the people of Papua New Guinea. I am honored by the presence of our Fijian brothers and sisters here tonight, the Fiji Business Council, and the many prominent Fijian citizens who have come to join us this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, the Pearl South Pacific Resort Spa and Championship Golf Course is the first of many visions MRDC and its subsidiaries have for Fiji and the Pacific region. As of August this year, MRDC and Petroleum Resources Kurubu officially acquired the 200 acres of land at Pearl Resort and Golf Championship. Early this month, we were pleased to also include Mineral Resources Octedi as a new shareholder, bringing about one of the most dynamic MRDC-initiated investment to date. The Pearl South Pacific was acquired for 32 million Fijian after an 18-month journey in negotiations and due diligence. This was driven by a dedicated team with a view to embrace a sector that has proven itself as the lifeblood of this country, tourism and hospitality. Although in our country, investment in tourism and hospitality are low priority in light of the mineral resource, MRDC believes tourism it is the best long-term strategy for diversifying its investment portfolio, both within PNG and around the Pacific region.
2 months after the acquisition of the resort, MRDC hosted a ceremony on the newly acquired establishment. This ceremonial night was to launch MRDC's development and expansion plans for the resort. Prominent government officials, including Prime Minister Peter O'Neill and the Minister for Transport Arno Pala, attended the launching ceremony.
PNG's economy over the last 10 years has experienced significant growth. The economy is now growing at an average of 8% per annum. This is largely driven by a large number of LNG and mining projects in the country. But to sustain that growth, we also need a stable political climate, which is vital, and the 9th Parliament, some of whom are with me today, are providing that stability. When PNG's economy continues to be stable and growing, our people benefit, and so does the region. Indeed, the economic growth in PNG has created many opportunities for the private sector. MRDC's decision to invest in Fiji is very timely. They have capitalized on many of those opportunities created by the strong performance of our economy.
Stay tuned as we have more on MRDC's beautiful resort in Fiji. If you've just tuned in, we're getting a feel of MRDC's investment in Fiji, the Pearl South Pacific Resort and Spa. Let's continue from where we left off.
This night was definitely a dawn to the new Pearl. MRDC had revealed their plans of further developing and transforming the already established Pearl South Pacific.
The new marina development and resort expansion will include 96 2- and 3-bedroom apartments which can be divided into a total of 126 rooms and sold as part of the inventory of the existing resort, therefore making this a 200-room resort. The marina apartments will be centered around an exclusive pontoon marina development that will allow approximately 36 mooring beds plus luxury super yachts beds on the river frontage. This will be the first of its kind in Fiji and the South Pacific.
The redevelopment will also include a fine dining restaurant situated on the beachfront, a health and wellness village centered around a pond within the property, and a 400-guest conference facility. Topping everything off will be a bar and bistro overlooking the river.
The marina development will see the entire river frontage developed and shall rank amongst other private marina developments around the world. The Pearl South Pacific Resort, together with the existing 18-hole Robert Trent Jones Championship Golf Course, will be one of Fiji's newest and most unique tourism products.
Coinciding with the launching ceremony was the Prime Minister's Challenge Cup. This was an annual golf tournament between Fiji and Papua New Guinea, where different teams from the two countries competed with each other for the overall title. Hosted by MRDC at their newly acquired Pearl Championship Golf Course and Country Club, the golf tournament saw the participation of major business houses from both countries. Honorable Peter O'Neill and His Excellency Ratu Epeli Nalatikau cheered off the tournament, but the end of the day saw Papua New Guinea emerging as the overall winner of this year's inaugural Prime Minister's Challenge Cup.
This is the result for the inaugural Prime Minister's 2012 Challenge Cup. Fiji 717, Papua New Guinea 704. Papua New Guinea takes the trophy.
For MRDC, the acquisition of the Pearl South Pacific Resort can also be seen as a win.
The acquisition and today's unveiling of the MRDC's Marina Development Plan of the Pearl Pacific Resort is a significant example of capitalizing on the investment opportunities that I've just mentioned. On behalf of the people of Papua New Guinea and the government of Papua New Guinea, I congratulate MRDC and the management.
Even though it is probably not the company's everyday type of ventures, one thing for sure is that this will definitely expand and diversify the company's investment portfolio.
The timing of this project has been a critical factor in our decision making. Fiji is at the pinnacle of economic growth with tourism, bridging new boundaries and greater foreign investment in tourism and setting a trend that will push Fiji beyond its past limitations. With the PNG LNG project coming in online and the appreciation of Kina, our investment value will continue to grow.
Promising as it is, this Pearly investment is expected to bring in a stable flow of income. This means a reliable and longer-term flow of benefits to the landowner companies and, more importantly, to the individual landowners themselves.
MRDC is, of course, 100% owned by the state. I am merely a trustee shareholder. It has been established very purposely to manage the equity interests of thousands of our landowners throughout the country and many of our provincial governments where the resource projects are being developed. I'm very pleased to note that over the last 5 years, MRDC has grown its group from an investment portfolio of 679 million kina in 2007 to 1.3 billion kina at the end of the last financial year. This is a very significant growth, representing about 82% increase, and it is a very remarkable achievement in the past 5 years. Currently, MRDC manages about 7 subsidiaries for the landowners, but given the increasing investment in LNG and other world-class mining projects in the country, I am very certain that the number of subsidiary companies under each trusteeship will increase. I am very confident that the new marina development will complement the existing facilities to the expectations of all the stakeholders, both in Fiji and in Papua New Guinea. That is why, with that, it gives me great pleasure to officially launch the Marine Development Plan of the Pearl Pacific Resort. Thank you and congratulations.
That was beautiful Pearl South Pacific Resort and Spa in Fiji. Coming up after the break is the community investment part of the program, featuring World Vision. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the program. Many successful local and global companies are embracing community responsibilities. Resource PNG tries to dedicate part of its program to community investment so that the companies out there can get an understanding of which organizations are involved in different community projects. And they in turn can support such initiatives as part of their corporate social responsibility. Tonight we showcase an interview with Kurt von Boguslawski, Country Director of World Vision PNG, who speaks to us about the work that World Vision is carrying out in Papua New Guinea. Let's join Eunice with that interview.
Good evening, viewers. Tonight we are joined by the Country Director of World Vision, Papua New Guinea, Mr. Kurt von Boguslawski. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
So can you tell us, how long have you been here?
I've been here a little over 4.5 years now and enjoying it very much.
So can you describe the structure and approach of World Vision in Papua New Guinea?
Certainly. World Vision is an international NGO working in relief and development. We've been here since 1974, registered in PNG since '87, and we have a structure where we have a country program office and field offices. We call them area program offices. For us, the main structure is basically in the field because we're a community-based organization, we're child-focused, and we're Christian. We've been working in this structure all around the world in 90 countries. We have more than 40,000 staff worldwide and considered the biggest NGO at the moment.
So in Papua New Guinea, it seems you've got tuberculosis projects in 66 of the 87 districts. And how has this program been initiated, and how has it been successful in reducing TB mortality in Papua New Guinea?
Yeah, the TB program is basically a national program. It's run by the National Department of Health, and it's called the National TB Program. Now, back in 2006, the country decided to go for an application with a global fund to fight TB, HIV, and malaria, and got awarded a grant. These grants are always for a 5-year duration in 2 phases, the first phase being 2 years and then a second phase of 3 years. In that grant application, World Vision was a sub-recipient to the National TB program, and the principal recipient was the National Department of Health. Amongst other partners such as the World Health Organization, JTAI, which stands for Jane Thomason and Associates International, and Hope Worldwide. When in 2010 there was a review of the program, and the National Department of Health actually withdrew as a principal recipient, and the country coordinating mechanism of the Global Fund here in PNG decided that World Vision is well positioned and should take on the role as principal recipient for the last year of implementation. So within this TB program, we basically had a phased approach, rolling out the TB DOTS strategy in the country. DOTS stands for Direct Observed Treatment Support, and it's a way of treating TB patients with treatment supporters, fixed dose combination drugs, and so on. So in the first year we had Morobe and NCD as our target areas, and we then rolled out to more and more provinces, so that in year 5 we covered all 20 provinces with the dots. World Vision's role in it was basically to do advocacy, communication, and social mobilization until we became the primary principal recipient to really support the national TB program in all the logistics and activities around TB control in the country. So the TB grant has been very successful. It's one of the best performing grants within the Global Fund here in country. And what the success is now is basically that we have all TB patients registered and followed up. It's the gold standard of TB control worldwide, and World Vision has, together with the National Department of Health through its National TB program, has really made a quantum leap in terms of identifying TB, registering it, not only because of our advocacy, communication, social mobilization, but also through a monitoring system which is in place now in all 20 provinces. And for the first time in the history of TB control in the country, we can actually say how many TB patients there are in the different provinces and districts.
That's pretty good.
World Vision also had manpower on the ground. The grant of the Global Fund actually permitted World Vision to have somebody in more than 66 districts on the ground, working with people to make TB known and to talk about the symptoms, and that it is curable, and that the treatment in PNG is free. So a real success for the TB program. We need to sustain this success. We need to continue working in TB because it's still one of the main killers in PNG, unfortunately. And there needs to be more attention from development partners and the government to really allocate sufficient funds to continue the good work we've started, so that we don't lose the momentum in TB control. So we're here to stay, and I would be very happy to support further the National Department of Health through its national TB program to implement the Stop TB strategy in PNG.
Stay tuned. There's more after this break. Clean water and proper sanitation are the basis of health and well-being. Most Papua New Guinean citizens live in rural areas. Many of them do not have access to clean water or proper sanitation. Many waterborne diseases such as diarrhea or cholera seriously affect the village's health. We speak to Country Director of World Vision on the water sanitation work. Apart from water sanitation, our next segment also gives us a glimpse into the wide portfolio of work that World Vision covers.
Now, another thing that World Vision does is water sanitation and health.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about the water sanitation and health projects you have running in Papua New Guinea?
Certainly. World Vision is not an organization which does only one project. We have a number of interventions in the country. We focus on our area programs, as I said earlier, and these area programs for the time being are in Bougainville, in Medang, and in NCD. We do also have a TB program in Western Province, and we're gearing up to have other projects there. Now, in an area program, our approach is to be as holistic as we can, following the needs we identify through baselines, through needs assessments in those particular areas. Now, water and sanitation tends to come up as one of the needs number one in all the rural communities, and we feel we need to really continue our work there. Water and sanitation has always been one of the strong parts of our work. What I need to explain is we categorize it as a health issue because of the waterborne diseases which are passed on, because of hygiene practices in the country which are fairly poor. So when we do water and sanitation and hygiene projects, 80% of our interventions are actually about hygiene promotion and the sanitation part of it. Only 20% would be actual infrastructure and bringing the clean water. So oftentimes communities don't understand that at the first glimpse, because what they miss is water, access to clean water. But in some other communities you have very, very poor hygiene practices, and we're working together with school children, with schools, with parents to improve hygiene promotion. And we're working with the communities in constructing ventilated, improved pit toilets, for example, to make sure that defecation is not happening in the bush any longer or close to water sources. So for us, the 80% of WASH is really important. So sanitation and hygiene. We do also work in education, and there we are now focusing really on early childhood education, knowing that If you educate children very young, they have a much better chance to pick up on the curriculum, on education later on. We go back as early as when the baby is still in the womb. So we're working with mothers in childbearing age, because we believe that children are already disadvantaged if a pregnant mother is anemic. Right. The brain development of the newborn will be hampered. There's a lot of other nutritional elements within maternal child health, yes, which we are trying to address through some programs we have in Madang and in Bougainville. We also support the government in its immunization campaigns. So we do all the community mobilization around it to make sure that mothers and parents bring their children to get, first of all, registered, and then are entitled to get immunized. And that's been a real success. Another area World Vision is working is in economic development, because we believe no development can take place without people actually having cash at hand to pay for some services. True. And to make sure that the kids can get the education they want them to have, to pay for some other services in the community. So income generation, economic development by supporting small businesses, maybe even in the informal sector in the beginning, are very essential to the development in rural communities, and also in NCD and some of the urban settlements we have here. The last focal area we're working in is actually disaster risk reduction. Right. PNG being located on the Pacific Ring of Fire, we have a lot of earthquakes, we have a lot of volcanic activity. We've seen some tidal waves and some king tides hitting the northern coast of PNG. We believe that if you do development, you need to be conscious about the disasters which loom. We just recently in Moroba saw what floods can do, and now in the newspapers we read about food shortage because of floods in the Southern Highlands. It is essential for all development partners to look at disaster risk reduction, to give the people who are living in remote communities the awareness that development is also about trying to safeguard some of your resources, such as your gardens. Cultivating crops not in disaster-prone areas. If a river goes over the banks, you lose everything, and that contributes to food shortage. So if you look at our portfolio of sectors we work in, we're really trying to be as holistic as possible in the areas we work. Now, in the near future, we are expanding through some assessment and design work to 2 new provinces. One is Moroba province. So from 1st of October, actually, we kicked off our assessment work, and to Sepik, because we believe there's still some very remote areas there, which World Vision needs to address some of the development challenges. All of this said, I think it is essential for an organization like World Vision not to work in isolation. I think we need to partner, and we've done that pretty well in some of the provinces, where we work together with the provincial government and the administration. We do also work on a national level, as demonstrated in the TB program. But we also need to try and work with the mining or extractive sector. I think they have a social corporate responsibility where World Vision is in the country, and we can support them in some of the outreach which needs to happen. TB shouldn't be the only thing we do together with the mining sector, but it's water and sanitation, and it can be education. So we're here to really look at those extractive industries, to call them on the plan, and try and work together with them to make the life of people in communities, especially their children, more happy and more sustainable.
So you've named several different sectors which you work in. There's tuberculosis, water and sanitation, education, and even disaster relief. With all these, what are some of the challenges that World Vision faces when trying to work in these projects?
That's a very good question. We do face challenges because of high costs operating. So the actual cost of $1 of development aid and what reaches communities, we always need to look at it. If we compare it to other places on this planet, to Africa or to Southeast Asia, for example, your dollar gets you far further than it would here in PNG. So we have some real constraints in terms of security costs, but also costs of living, housing for our staff, salary levels. And we're doing a lot of advocacy work with donor agencies to understand the complexity of pricing in PNG, and that development programs cost more here. So that's a constant challenge for us to justify some of our costs here. The other real challenges are motivation of community. I think there's a real need and demand from community, but World Vision is not an agency which can replace government or can replace provincial administration. So to motivate and to keep communities aware of what the government and the provincial authorities down to a ward level are supposed to be doing is one of our key areas. And it is very challenging to do that bottom-up approach. Yeah. If there's not really a reciprocity of understanding of the needs in communities. So we have a number of MPs who have the money to actually contribute to the development of their districts. But it's not happening. So we're constantly challenged to bring communities up to the level that they can actually demand for services. But on the same token, you need to also advocate with the government, whether it's a provincial or it's national, to bring down these services. And that has been a constant struggle, and we will continue that struggle. And I think somebody needs to stand in for communities to get the services they have a right to have. So the motivation of community, I think we can go far further if we have communities who are organized and who can actually ask for their entitlements in a much different way, not just going to court, but actually contributing to a development plan. As we've seen some of the development we've been involved in Usinabundi, where we did 76 ward development plans together with the ward councillors and community members, right, which now feed into district development plans. These district development plans then feed into the provincial plan. So it's if you like, it's governance work which needs to be done. But for an NGO, very challenging terrain, especially if it gets political, because we want to be reflecting the voice of the community, but we don't want to get political. So for us, it's really up to the local structures, the organic law to work, because we all believe in it and we all want to make it work. So those are some of the challenges. I could tell you more, but basically, wherever we work, we're very well accepted by the communities, and without the help of the community and without their engagement, all of this work wouldn't be possible.
That was World Vision's country director speaking on the wide portfolio of work that World Vision carries out and the challenges they face. In our forthcoming segment, find out how we can support an organization such as World Vision carry forward their work in Papua New Guinea.
So you've covered some work with community development, and it seems World Vision tries very hard to help the community. Yes. Say if someone wanted to help World Vision here, yeah, how do they get involved in supporting the work of World Vision in Papua New Guinea?
I think one of the key areas is to understand the work. World Vision, I think the name World Vision is very well known in Papua New Guinea, maybe because we are a Christian organization, but it is known through media. But not many people understand what we're doing. We want to provide the spark. We don't want to be there to do the job. We really want to walk alongside communities to help them achieve what they need to achieve in terms of development. That they have a school which is functioning, that there is material in the school that they can work with, the children can work with, and the teachers can work with. That there are aid posts in communities, and the aid posts are fully equipped with medication and equipment. So World Vision just is one of the development partners here, such as other NGOs. And we really want to be a partner of the government in all levels. So from national level to provincial level to LLG level to ward level, to really walk alongside and make the voices heard of those who've been, in some cases, neglected. And that's why we also go to Western Province, to very difficult environments, to work there and to make sure that the needs of the communities are heard.
So, as the country director, what would you want to see in the future for World Vision in Papua New Guinea?
My vision for our work, but also for the entire development sector, is that that there is enough money allocated from the government to reach even the most remote places in the country. We've seen a lot of development happening in the country through some of the extractive industry, but also through incredible investments into education, into HIV. The response to HIV, into health now, but what we would like to see, and my vision is really that all of that is well distributed and trickles down even to the last child in Papua New Guinea, wherever that is, whether it's Middle Ramu or whether it's somewhere in the Southern Highlands or up the Fly River. So far, I don't see the distribution of the riches of this country going all the way to the communities who are really suffering. Some communities don't have access to water or education or basic health care, and this is not right. So World Vision is really, and me personally, my dream would be that there might as well be some philanthropes in PNG. Today we've read in the newspaper that a lot of money is being invested in Australia. Why is that so? Why can't that money which is being invested in Australia be invested into own communities to develop them? I think Papua New Guinea has a very bright future if things are going well, and it is very promising to see a new government already touching on some of these issues now, and I think it's a very opportune time as well now to show that Papua New Guineans, if they work together, if we all want to make it work, it can happen. I'm seeing some incredible development which I really want to embrace as an organization, as well as a head of an organization, and we just need to all work together to make it happen. Partnership is something which is essential to be efficient and effective, to have some impact in communities.
So as the country director, is there anything else you'd like to talk about with World Vision's work in Papua New Guinea?
I think my wish is that the government also recognizes NGOs, recognizes their contribution to the development in the country. I think there are a number of NGOs who've done incredible work, and I'm not singling out World Vision here. I think there's some NGOs who've done exceptionally well, and it's not in competition with the government. I think that really needs to be understood. We're here to help, to assist, and to drive the development agenda. We all believe in Vision 2050. We all believe in the medium development strategy and the plans which have been laid out, and there's no reason for us to contest that. It's really how can we make it work together, and here I am as a country director of a large NGO in PNG, and I really want everybody to work together to reach even the last child in PNG, to make its life happy, full of prospects, and to achieve development in the country and growth and prosperity.
Thank you very much for your time, and we wish you all the best with the work of World Vision in Papua New Guinea.
Thank you very much, Janice. It's been a pleasure being here, a real honor.
Thank you for staying with us. There's more to come. In our final segment in tonight's episode, we have a report on special agricultural business leases.
Development cannot really happen at all without land. Without land, you can't build roads, schools, hospitals, or houses, the very basics for any urban area. Land is a very valuable resource, but that is hard to come by in our towns and cities. The National Research Institute, the think tank for policy making, had stated recently that they have seen a lot of abuse in the issuance of urban development leases as well as special agricultural business leases.
UDLs allow for leases of large portions of land in urban areas to property developers, people with finance to put in the infrastructure to subdivide the land into allotments so that houses and property can be developed on those lands. UDLs have been abused. Some UDLs have been issued to land speculators, and these speculators then sell the UDL leases, which they should not be, because UDL leases are given to the developers for 5 years. They cannot sell them, but the lands department has allowed them to be sold on. And so over 5 or 6 transactions, every transaction results in some payments being made. And so at the end of it, there's somebody gets the land to develop it. They've paid several millions of kina for a piece of land that's obtained relatively free from the state. Now the developer, when they put the house and the land package, we are paying more for those parcels of land and housing than we should have if the developers were given to the land was given to real, genuine developers.
There are set procedures in place when it comes to issuing urban development leases or UDLs. The abuse of this process has made living in towns and cities very expensive. The National Research Institute noted that there have been a number of issues that need to be talked about. There is a set application procedure for urban development leases.
The city has a development plan, NCD, what do they call it? Locality plan. And they have sort of zoned it up and said these are residential, these are commercial and industrial areas. And once they've identified and approved a plan by the NCD Fiscal Planning Board, they then advise the lands department that there is a UDL up for development. And so the lands department then advertise, that's the procedure. They should advertise and say, this piece of land is available for development. We have an approved development plan. And then the process starts with the expressions of interest by developers, yeah.
These areas have to be developed within 5 years.
They should come to the land board with their sort of development proposals in terms of, they say, look, we want to develop this land. These are the number of allotments that we'll put on that map, on that land. And so they say that in the first year they'll mobilize, second year they'll start to implement, and by the third and fourth year, what they would do is then have those allotments and they'll go back, what they call surrender the title to the lands department, and the lands department will then issue land titles for each of those allotments on the developed land. So 5 years is the time.
All this planning has to include basic services like sewage, water, electricity, and roads. In theory, these large chunks of land are supposed to be broken up into allotments and then put on the market for home buyers. And it's location, location, location.
The underlying value of properties actually starts from the plans, not the type of house. The house is somebody's dream. It's the underlying land that drives it. So you go to Ella Beach, up the hill, some very lousy older houses, but you'll see them on sale for 4 million, 2 million, 1 million. It's a location that matters. And the origin value emerges from the plans. And, look at the other way around too. It also allows for proper planning and development of the cities. Roughly 1,000 houses to a primary school, to a market, a shopping center. There are ways to do this. Rainbow is a classic example of a very poorly designed suburb. There's no primary school, there's no school, no this shopping center,
No
just
playground.
developed out of no playground. So see, when these UDLs are not being properly planned and allocated, we are marking up the entire land planning and the valuation system as well. So you go to Rainbow, how many houses are there? That's a classic example of a very poorly designed suburb. 1,000 houses should be called to a primary school and a shopping center and a recreational facility. So these fundamental roots are being played around. So if we don't take control, we are going down to another path of some unorganized,
The reality is that this process does not seem to be working. Land is becoming more expensive, and it seems the application process is where the problem starts.
Some of this don't come to the land board. They're sort of dealt outside of the land board. And in fact, also during the land board processes, there are some that don't allow for information to come to the land board to allow for the land board to make an informed decision. And sometimes we have to make decisions, and so we're forced to make decisions without the benefit of adequate information. But the most important thing is that even if the land board makes a wrong decision, the developer has to develop that property within 5 years in conformance to the development plans that have been approved. And it's incumbent on the lands department to follow through and make sure that those developments are happening. But they don't. Even the person who gets it is not supposed to sell that lease, UDL lease, to another person. But they allow for those transactions to happen.
The National Research Institute has said that the system is very dysfunctional because the process is not properly monitored and no one is giving straight answers.
Land board, no, the land board is a national land board. Yeah. So it's a national, so the system is dysfunctional, put it that way. You expect local authorities to make plans, surrender to a national system to manage it, and the national board to approve it. And that's where. So NCDC as a fiscal planning board, that's a national fiscal planning board. So that's different, and that's the planning guys. But allocation is different. So in the proposed reform, we are pushing for that allocation process to be market-oriented. In other words, open up. NCDC does the plan and auction it off or tender it off, whatever process, so that everybody comes to the market, bids for it. But in the planning process, you can plan for, allocate for social housing, low-cost housing, whatever. You do that in the planning process, but allow that land to come out into the market. So the National Land Development Program, I'm not too sure whether you are aware of. It's a massive program. It started in 2005 up to now. It has land administration, land dispute settlement, customary land development, and the land and properties market. That whole program is moving ahead with these reforms, and Lands Department has a lot of responsibility on this. They are supposed to be the engine of this, and it's having it's not working the way it's, instead of going forward in reverse gear. Something is wrong.
But NRI thinks all is not lost. They suggest that urban land be auctioned off straight away.
Process. So what we need is NCDC does the plans, auction it straight off the state. In that respect, NCDC will get money out of it from the auction, and people get land. At the moment, land prices like land and property package are going about 300,000. I suspect 200,000 is actually this skimmers selling one from 500 to 2 million, 3 million.
So the cost of property and housing in PNG, particularly in Port Moresby and in the urban areas, is partly caused by this issuance of UDLs to people who cannot develop land, but they are passing it on and making money out of it, and therefore Papua New Guineans are paying for it. We want to see people with genuine finance like the super funds, Nash Fund, PSF. These are institutions that have a lot of money and they want to help the members build houses and access accommodation. These UDLs should be released to those genuine institutions that have got funds to develop them, and not to speculators who will keep passing them on. And at the end of the day, ordinary Papua New Guineans can't buy houses, can't pay the rents because they are too high. And we support the Minister for Lands. He came out in the papers last week saying that he has directed that the Land Board not sit this week. We support that move, and we want to see the Land Board reviewed, and those functions and particularly the issuance of UDLs looked at closely, so that there is a system where these UDLs are given to genuine property developers so that they develop the land and sell the house and land packages to Papua New Guineans, so that we can buy those at a very much lower prices than what they are being sold on the market today.
I think we need a major reform and overhaul of the lands department and the way we do business on land. Yeah.
We can have generate some debate in the community so that we have some attention to these two areas, the SABL and the issuance of UDLs in a way that's not helping Papua New Guineans.
That's all we have for tonight on Resource PNG. If you want to know more about the program, do email us on this address, resourcepng@mtv.com.pg, or check MTV online. That's www.mtv.com.pg, and go to our Resource PNG page. Until the same time next week, have a pleasant evening.